friends, today I just want to do a chatty video about how ASMR rooms changed my reading life. I can't even say it without laughing. Now this sounds entirely more dramatic than it actually is. I really just realized how much ASMR rooms have influenced my reading speed. And when I saw how much of a difference it made, I was just like, okay, I want to talk about this. So we're here to talk about this. I'm gonna go back a little bit, talk a little bit how I got into ASMR rooms. Now the funny thing is I actually don't like normal ASMR, like the someone talking to you. I don't like that at all. I am not as negative about it anymore than I was a couple of months ago, simply because of Melanie. Like, first of all, I now understand way more. Like, I was never hating on people who like ASMR, but now I definitely understand more what the appeal is about it, what ASMR can actually do to you, and like how many people use it for mental health and self-care. Also, because she does so much ASMR stuff, I just simply got more used to it. Like, it's just more part of my life than it ever was before. It used to be something that I knew kind of existed in some part of the internet, and I would just stay far, far away from it because I just don't like. I get a physical reaction from ASMR too, it's just that I don't like it. It's like more like a cringy feeling more than anything. But with just being exposed to it more, I'm like, whatever. Like, I would still never go to a just complete ASMR video of someone just like doing some random things. But I understand what a huge genre it is, like how much there is to it. And for example, the fact that like these like hair cutting things are ASMR as well. I'm understanding that ASMR is so many things, and I'm understanding that I actually have some triggers as well that I really like. So I just understood ASMR much more. I remember that I always liked the idea of ASMR rooms. Like even like a year ago, I remember checking out like a Hogwarts Library ASMR room and the Gryffindor Common Room ASMR room. And I was really just like, I don't really get it. Like, I don't really like it. It wasn't for me. I know these are like basically the two, for me anyway, these were like the two most popular ASMR rooms, but like in the Hogwarts Library, I just get goosebumps, and not in a good way, if I just think about the page turning. I just can't. I just cannot. Like, there's just some sounds that I just cannot stand. Like, I cannot have a clock ticking in my room, these kinds of things, and the page turning just drove me nuts. And then a couple of months ago, Whitney from Whitney Novels talked about ASMR rooms in one of her vlogs, and she talked about how there's like, you know, ASMR rooms of all of the common rooms, and that she likes some of the other common rooms way better than the Gryffindor common room. And I was like, I never thought about that. There's probably so many more ASMR rooms out there. So then, obviously, as I was also already more aware of ASMR and everything, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give ASMR rooms another chance. I found a couple of ones that I just really, really liked. And I've always been someone who listened to music while reading. Like, I cannot not listen to anything while reading. The sounds that just go on around you, even if you're in a room alone, they distract me. So I rather listen to music because I know what's going on. I have like playlists for certain series or for certain genres even. I am very particular about the music that I listen to. I don't just I can listen to random music, but I have like playlists and everything. Like my music is planned out. And so like the concept of listening to something while reading wasn't strange to me at all. On the contrary, I was like, I need something to listen to, and sometimes I don't want to listen to music, even if it's instrumental music. And so I really like the idea of ASMR rooms. I just thought that I didn't like it, but then I found other ASMR rooms and I ended up being obsessed with some of them. There's just so much stuff out there. There's so much more beyond the Harry Potter, and so I just kind of started looking at a couple of ones and just using these ASMR rooms, like listening to them while reading. It was around that time that I realized that my reading speed increased. I use this app Bookly. I'm not sponsored. I don't even love this app, honestly. It has a lot of bugs, and the fact that they want me to pay for this buggy app, I'm like, fuck you, no. Sorry. But like, really though, like really, if you want to make me pay for something, especially like monthly, you need to do better. And there I track my reading, and it tells me how many pages I read per hour. I obviously, even before this app, tracked it before, I knew I read about 60 pages an hour. Depending on the book, it could be a little bit more. And then through the app, I noticed that like for most regular books, I would read about 67 pages an hour. And then all of a sudden, I realized that my reading speed sometimes would be up to like 80, even like 85, 86, 87 pages an hour. I was like, what is going on? And like, it seemed so strange to me, the fact that all of a sudden my reading speed would be like 15 or 20 more pages an hour. At first I thought, okay, maybe this is just about this certain book. Especially with ebooks, you often, you wouldn't really know like what kind of book it is. Like, is it like very small pages or whatever? You just don't really know. And then I just continued to see those like high numbers of pages read per hour. At some point, I just saw a pattern, because like I just saw that when I was listening to music, I would read way less in an hour than when I would listen to ASMR rooms. Now, I obviously don't really know how ASMR rooms compare to what I read in an hour when I don't listen to anything, but I can already tell you that even if my reading speed would be as fast without anything as it is with ASMR rooms, I get distracted. So I would read maybe more pages, but I would just sometimes be just drifting to different places while reading. While I'm filming this, I just read The Lost Coast by Amy Rose Capetta, and I read I can't even believe it, I read almost 100 pages per hour of that book because of ASMR rooms, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind, the fact that ASMR rooms make me read so much faster. I don't understand the science behind it, but I also don't need to understand the science behind it. All I know is that it's making me much more motivated to pick up books. And it's funny because I never felt like, like a page per minute is not slow. I was always like, this is a good reading speed. But the fact that I can finish a 300-page book in like 3 hours, again, it differs still very much, but technically I could. It just changes so much. And I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but for me, for some reason, knowing that it's just gonna take me 3 or 4 hours to finish a book makes me much more inclined to want to pick it up, to just read, because if I just give it another 2 hours today, I will be done with the book, It just feels incredible. And it just really, I know I was just like, it sounds more serious than it is, but like, honestly, it did really change my reading life. It's so stupid. Like, why is it easier for me to sit down and read for an hour now that I read 80 pages an hour instead of 60? I don't know, but it does. I know that it does. And so it truly changed my reading life. I obviously never been a slow reader, and I've been consistently finishing more than 5 books every month for the past like 2 years or something. But still, this just changes things. It still does. And I don't really know how to explain it, but it is amazing to me how much this had an impact on my reading. Even right now, where obviously there was a lot of stuff going on in my life, and like I didn't read much in April at all, like physically. It was so easy now that things have like really settled down. It was so easy for me to get back into reading. I said before, like usually when I play World of Warcraft, I will not read, but for some reason, just knowing like, oh, if I take a break now for an hour, then I can get like 90 pages done. It changes so much. And I don't know if that's strange. I don't know why that's doing things to me so much, but I just love it, and it makes me happy. It feels in a way like, hey, maybe I can get like 8% of the books that I want to read in my life read, and not just 5. You know what I mean? Like, we all know in this lifetime we're never going to be able to read all of the books that we want to read, but now I just feel a little bit more hopeful. There's just a little bit more that I can consume. I also just realized, I think, because I just brought up World of Warcraft, I just have so many things that I like to do. I love watching movies, I love watching TV shows, I love watching YouTube, I love playing video games, I love listening to podcasts. There's just so many things that I love to do, and I think just the fact that I can read so much in an hour means that I can like, I don't have more time for the things that I have before, but just the reading time that I have, I get more shit done. I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's so many things that I like doing, and reading has become such a huge priority for me, obviously, and it makes a lot of sense. But I feel like now, because I can read more pages in an hour, I feel less guilty about doing all of the other things that I do. I think that is a huge factor as well. I just realized that. Because that's always a huge issue for me, balancing all of the different things that I love doing. And like, there's some things you have to cut out. Like, I used to love watching anime, but it's simply something that I had to cut out because I can't be casual about things. I've said this before as well, and that was my issue with World of Warcraft 2. It's just that I know that once I start watching anime, I can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to watch a little bit. Like, no. I just get obsessed with things, and like, there's only so many things that you can obsess over and balance too. And I feel like the balance of reading with YouTube always worked, obviously, but now I feel like I can balance even more things because reading takes me less time, which is not even true. I actually think because of this I read more. I think that I invest more time in reading because I know I can read so much in the time that I read. But still, the balancing just feels easier. This is fascinating to me, honestly, and that's why I wanted to make a video about it. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to say this is my experience. Maybe some of you have experienced something similar. Maybe some of you will now give ASMR rooms a try. But I also wanted to talk about it just to kind of see myself, what I'm going to say about it, because I didn't script any of this. I didn't take any notes. I just kind of went into it. I just kind of sat down, was like, let's have a chat. Here we are. And I am so fascinated. I can only say I'm so fucking fascinated and intrigued by this. And I'm going to continue. Like, I wouldn't always track every book that I read, but now I do because it's just so fascinating to me. And like, I miss listening to music sometimes, definitely. But like, it's hard for me to go back to listening to music when I know that like that makes me read less pages. I'm gonna say that quite honestly. But it also depends a little bit on what book I'm reading. And, you know, again, if it's an arc, I obviously want to like get through it quickly. But like with other books, I can really take my time, and I want to take my time. So then I will listen to music. So it's not like I'm never gonna listen to music again. Sometimes I get sick of the ASMR rooms as well. But yeah, it's just fascinating to me. So let me know if you are into ASMR rooms as well, if maybe you're also someone who, you know, reads faster or is just like more concentrated while listening to ASMR rooms. Maybe you use it while studying. I could also very much imagine that. And let me know if there's anything that has influenced your reading life, anything that has just made you want to sit down and read more, or just makes you read faster, or just has you less distracted. And yeah, I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday with occasional reviews on Friday. So click subscribe to never miss anything, and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!